Hello and welcome on in to Talk of the Town. My name is Rich Reynolds. Thanks for joining us today. And as most men, I'm thinking right now, and Madison would agree, I'm probably the luckiest guy in town as I get to spend some time with these three lovely ladies. We have Courtney, Jennifer, and Autumn all here from Design for a Difference. And to tell you a little bit about Design for a Difference and what they do, that's what they're going to provide for you. I know that they did a makeover for Center for Families, which is a local nonprofit that was estimated over $140,000. And this year you're doing something else as well. You're offering it up to another local nonprofit. Is that right? So let's talk briefly, I guess, what is Design for a Difference?
Design for a Difference is the only community-driven national movement in both the U.S. and Canada. It brings local businesses together with interior designers to give much-needed makeovers to local charities in the area.
Ah, pretty neat. So now in 2015, it was for Center for Families. How did that makeover go?
That was amazing. Basically, Floor 360 decided to bring this movement to Madison, and so they helped gather some local designers together, and we all went and looked at the space at Center for Families and decided not only was it a space that deserved a makeover in terms of how it looked, but also in terms of how it functioned, and the designers really hit it out of the park. And we've heard from Center for Families that it's totally changed the way that they actually deliver services. So all of our goals were really exceeded.
I guess, just to follow up on that a little bit, how can a design make that much difference in how they deliver services?
Well, design is not just about how something looks. Things that look a certain way also make you feel a certain way. And so designers are really trained in looking at the function of a space, how to make flow better, how to make sure that certain kinds of creative activities go on. And so if you have that kind of playfulness in a space, that really translates and tells people how to behave in a space. So it really, it has a transformative effect on behavior.
Interesting. So for 2015, you do it for Centers for Families. Now, for 2016, it's out there for other nonprofits. How could they be nominated?
Right. It's really easy. All you have to do is visit the Floor 360 website. There's a link to Design for a Difference, and you can go to that link, check out our video from last year. You can see how great the makeover was last year, and the nomination process is easy, just a little information about yourself, the charity that you'd like to nominate, the space that they're looking for to be made over, and then a few photos, if you have a few photos of the space. And
okay,
that's really
is a space too big, too small?
It just needs to be a space that, is something that we can make over that, that needs certain things to be made over.
I can use it.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So now, when is the winner announced? What's the timeline for something like this?
So the deadline for nominations, real important, is March 1st. So if there's a charity or a nonprofit that you volunteer for, or maybe you get services from, and you would like to nominate them, by March 1st is when we need to know that. And then actually we are having on April 7th a Brava Night Out at Floor 360 for Design for a Difference. There's going to be a national speaker, Lonnie Paul, who is a designer to the stars.
Okay.
She's going to talk. There's going to be food and music, and we are going to announce the winner, the nonprofit that's going to receive the makeover, and then really the work starts.
Okay, can they love it or lose it then? Like kind of.
Oh no, they're only going to love it.
Is that right?
They're
Okay.
only going to love it.
So what is some of the contact info? I mean, I know we're running through some of it, right on the screen right now, but website stuff, phone number stuff, what's some of the ways that they can contact you?
So the best way is really just floor360.com. That's where the link is to the makeover, and that'll go direct to us. So that's really the easiest and best way to contact us.
Okay.
We also have a Facebook page too, so you can find us on Facebook for Design for a Difference Madison or Floor 360 as well.
Okay. Now, if I'm a community member, how do I get involved in something like this?
The main thing, come to the event on April 7th. We're going to have a silent auction, and at that time you can nominate, you can be part of the silent auction, and you can also get involved for, the makeover for this year. And again, just visit the website, floor360.com.
Excellent. Ladies, I think this is really cool, and you're definitely making a difference too, so we love that as well. So thanks for joining us, Courtney, Jennifer, and Autumn right here, and we'll be back with more on Talk of the Town right here in CW57. And welcome back. And I love learning new things every day, including just learning the fact that February is Children's Dental Month. And that's why we bring in right now Dr. Lance Miller from Associated Dentists. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Yeah,
Nice to be here.
glad to have you here. Talking about kids' dental care. That's what we're going to focus on during our conversation right now.
Sure.
I have a couple of kids of my own. At what age should I have started bringing my kids to the dentist?
Well, the ADA, the American Dental Association, has recently kind of changed some of their guidelines in the last couple of years. We now have children coming at 1 year of age.
Oh, wow.
Actually, so used to be 3 years of age. You know, the maturity level at that point, we could get kids in and get them cleaned and do a routine exam.
Okay, now I know there's dentists, there's some that are specialists in pediatric dental care.
Sure.
Does a child need to see a pediatric dentist?
Yeah, this is something that even my own parents growing up, they think children, well, they have to see a children's dentist. That's not necessarily the case. And don't get me wrong, don't want to step on any toes because pediatric dentists have a very special place in this industry. But yes, a lot of people find the uniformity of children coming to the same dentist as their parents to be something where everybody gets to know each other, and it's a wonderful experience that way.
Now, daily dental care. Now, for an adult, it might be flossing and brushing and rinsing, doing all of that kind of stuff.
Sure.
How about for children? Is it different? Is there something we should do on a daily basis for our kids?
No, it's kind of the same thing. You want to make sure we get them brushed and flossed morning and evening. That evening one is really, really important. You know, you've gone all day, you've been eating food all day. You want to make sure you get the plaque and such off the teeth in the evening before bedtime.
Okay, now there might be like a prevailing thought out there like, hey, you know, they got their baby teeth. The baby teeth are going to fall out anyways, you know. Why should we try to retain all of those primary teeth?
Just had this conversation with my dad here recently. I was on the way home, had a challenging child at the end of the day, and he's like, well, what are you fixing a baby tooth anyway for? So reason being, you know, form and function. Some of these teeth are meant to be there till age 11 or 12, and if we lose those teeth, we will get some spacing issues, meaning you lose a tooth, permanent tooth will want to come in, and then it'll shift over, and then there won't be any space for it. So it can cause some problems down the road.
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, we had, you know, both of our kids had cavities and had to get them filled in their primary teeth. And, you know, that was a conversation I had with my wife. I'm like, why are we doing this?
Yes, exactly.
Tooth's going to fall out anyways. You know, at what age, I guess, and maybe it's different in every kid, what age should they expect to start losing their teeth?
Well, everybody's different. Girls oftentimes will lose them before the boys will. Usually around age 5, we'll start to notice some of the lower front teeth, we call them anterior teeth. They'll start to come out, and then the top as well. So yeah, around age 5, and that will progress until about age 12.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
so that late in life they could start losing teeth. So there's no real fear then, you know, if you're 10, 11 years old and a tooth falls out, that's not a permanent one.
That's not a permanent one, most likely.
Okay,
Yeah, it would
okay,
be-
most likely.
Yes,
Okay.
it would be a tough one.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I think
If it's a
parent
permanent
goes
one,
through-
we have some major issues going
Yeah,
on.
absolutely. So, you know, speaking of a more controversial subject, I guess, some people are afraid of fluoride. They're afraid of fluoride in the water. We know that it's good for our teeth, I guess. As a dentist, how do you feel about fluoride?
You know what? As a dentist, you know, I promote fluoride. It has made a great change in our world as far as cavities go. As far as stepping on people's toes with that, we are sensitive to their beliefs. We won't force that upon anyone. But as far as dentistry goes, it's a lifesaver. It has really, really decreased the possibility of getting cavities.
So is it going to matter then? I think most toothpaste have fluoride in them, correct? It doesn't matter what type of toothpaste that you're buying for your kids?
You know, there's usually a sign on the back side of it. It's going to have a little ADA sign on it. That is generally the ones we recommend. I use Kids Crest for my child. I have a 3.5-year-old. So, and you know, you watch the commercials, they pile a bunch of, you know, toothpaste on there. You don't have to have that much. It's just a pea size. They're not ingesting it. You don't have to use fluoridated toothpaste until they're strong enough or able to spit. Okay. So yes, they can just go ahead and brush their teeth with that. And as long as they can spit, you know, that'll work out fine.
Is there a danger to the kids swallowing it at all? I know it tastes good sometimes.
Right. We don't find any danger in that at all.
No, okay,
No.
okay,
No,
very good.
not with that amount, not with that quantity.
Okay, good. Well, I think it's good more than anything else, I'm guessing, at a young age to start the good habits. Isn't it?
Absolutely. Get in there, you know, touch their teeth if you can, just anything they'll let you do inside the mouth. That'll just make it easier as they get older. A lot of kids will resist, you know, parents brushing their teeth. coming to the dentist, letting dentists take a look. So if you can get in there at an early age, that's terrific.
It's good advice. See your dentist early and often. We'll be back with more Talk of the Town. Our thanks to Dr. Lance Miller. And like I said, we got more coming up next.
Thank you.
And welcome back, and a fascinating topic to cover here. We have Greg Guion, who is here from Medical Art Prosthetics, and the last time he was here, I was off to the side while he was talking to Janet and watching all of the wonderful eye transformations that he did. Now, Greg is an anaplastologist, and I said that because I can't say the other word, which is a prosthetist. Is that?
No, perfect.
Oh, really? I got it. I got them
got
both.
'em both.
So I like anaplastologist maybe
100%.
better. So we were looking at eyes last time. Now we're looking at ears, right? So
Right,
all right.
right.
So ear prosthesis. What's an ear prosthesis?
Well, an ear prosthesis is basically an artificial ear. Okay, so it's made out of silicone, typically silicone rubber, just like this. You can handle that too if you've never seen one before.
Wow.
It's obviously not permanent. It's not implanted under the skin. It's actually something that the person would put on every day and then take off at night.
It almost seems like something if you were making for a sci-fi film or someone needed something like
Special
that.
effects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's closely
It's-
related to that. field,
Yeah,
actually.
very. I mean, wow, high quality. I mean, very realistic.
Yep.
Now, why would someone need that? Why would someone need an ear prosthesis?
Well, obviously people either lose their ear in an auto accident, or very commonly people have a skin cancer, basal cell or squamous cell carcinoma you might have heard of,
Yeah.
or melanoma from the sun, whatever. And so they have to have their ear removed, or part of their ear removed. That's one big reason. The other class of people that need a prosthesis are children that are born without an ear.
oh boy.
You know, so there's like 1 in 5,000 or 1 in 6,000 children are born without an ear, or a small ear. They're born with a tiny bit of tissue, and they call that microtia.
Okay.
So that's another reason. And then there are the people that our children have been born without an ear, and they try to have it surgically reconstructed, but the reconstruction doesn't turn out so good. It either fails or it just is not ideal, and the people want to, you know, improve the look of their ear. So they have a prosthesis.
You could be, I guess, Evander Holyfield too, and have fought Mike Tyson.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
Not to make light of it.
It could
but
be a candidate,
Yeah,
yep.
yeah. Lost
Yep.
part of his
If
ear.
it was
so,
enough.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So how do these prosthetic ears actually attach then to a patient?
Well, I've got some examples here, and I'll quickly go through them. So here's an example of an implant retained ear. One of the more common methods is the patient would have implants installed in the bone. Let's see if we can get that on
Yeah.
the camera. And then the prosthesis would be designed with these clips that snap it into place. That's one method. Another method that's also implant retained is a magnet retained prosthesis. So there's individual magnets placed, and then or rather implants placed, and then the prosthesis has magnets, very strong magnets, that attach the prosthesis with an O-ring. So that's really on there too. And then another method is for the children with microtia that have tissue there that maybe don't want to have it removed. We can design a slip-over prosthesis that actually slides and slips into place, and then it's held into place just by the fit, and maybe augmented with adhesive.
Yeah, well, I got to touch it, got to see it up close. It looks really real. How do you get such a close match?
Well, it's a matter of art, really, to a large degree. There's technologies that help design or mirror image the ear prostheses, but the whole process is not so high-tech. To really get those accurate color matches, that really boils down to the artistry of it. And I have some images
please,
here, and
I'd
I
like
think
to see those.
You know, the pictures really are worth 1,000 words, so let me see if I can get those positioned for you so you can see those. So this quickly goes through some case examples of people that are obviously missing the tissue, missing their ear. And then this is an example of an ear fully rendered prosthesis. And then that's what that's going to look like in place.
It looks completely natural.
Yeah, we do all sorts of things to the texturing and the reflectivity to try to get a really natural match. Here's an example of an implant retained, the individual abutments. Back of the prosthesis illustrates the magnetic attachments, and then here it is in place. And
Amazing.
Yeah, we can get them really, really lifelike. And then even down to the idea of creating fine hair.
Hair, yeah.
Yeah, and that we don't do that in every case, but it can be done.
Terrific.
I like to
know what?
show this to
Yeah.
illustrate. This is such an important class of cases where people have had an ear reconstruction, like you can see here on the top, but they're not happy with the way it turned out.
Well, we'll have to cut you there. We are
Oh,
out of
okay,
time.
we
Yeah,
an
I
out.
apologize.
Yeah.
I can talk about this stuff forever. Greg
Gotcha.
Dion joining us here. We'll have more on Talk of the Town coming up. And welcome back, and we are talking about a topic now. It's kind of interesting. You know, my wife has been thinking about doing it, but we're not quite seniors. Moving forward, I think they kind of focus on the senior side of downsizing with ease a little bit more as we bring in Marianne for moving forward. Welcome on in.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. Talking about seniors, what exactly is a senior move manager?
Sure. But I have to say, so even though we do focus on seniors, no problem. We work with people who are not seniors.
Is that
So
right?
I'll just,
Okay,
yeah,
all
get
right.
that
My
out
wife
there.
will be happy to
yes,
know that.
you could let her know when you get home.
There you
So
go,
no
Basha.
worries. Anyway, so a senior move manager is somebody who's been trained through the National Association of Senior Move Managers, and it's a company. The NASM is located in Illinois, and there's about 1,000 senior move managers around the country. So it's very important that I'm part of that organization because it's very ethical. We're in people's private spaces in their homes helping them. So that training is really important. So people who use the term senior move manager, you can be assured that they've been trained through this organization.
Okay. Now, what are some of the steps, I guess, you start off at point A to get all the way to point B. What are some of the steps you go through with families?
Sure. So basically, we always come and we have an initial meeting, with our client, and we see what their needs are because every family is very different. And basically, we tell them we go room by room with the client, and we sort through years of belongings. So we bring up the boxes from the basement, take things from the attic, and physically one-on-one go through items if they need us to do that, and decide what to keep, what to sell, what to donate. And then we pack up what they want to bring to their new home. And usually, they're going from a home they've been in 50 years to a maybe like a 600 square foot apartment. So it's a huge downsize. So we also go through and measure the furniture so that we know what will fit comfortably in their new home. And then we help pack them, move them, get them settled in. We hang up the pictures, hang up the shower curtain, make the beds, make sure they're comfortable in their new home. And then we go back to their old home and get it ready to sell. So we finish selling all the items, getting the home ready for the realtor then to come in and
I would think that could be such a difficult process. Now, not for my wife, she'll throw anything out, but I have like sentimental attachment to everything.
Sure.
Is that hard for people sometimes to downsize and to give that up?
It's very tricky. And again, people associate items with memories, and that's always the hardest part to get through. So we just have, we talk through it a lot, and we really try to go through those steps and have people realize that it's just an item. So you still have your memories, but try to let some things go if you can.
So now who ends up finding you then normally? Is it usually a senior? Is it their families?
Yeah, typically it's not the senior. It would be their family members, their kids, especially if the kids are living out of state. They realize there's all this work to do and they just can't physically get there to help their parents. So lots of times one of the kids will reach out to us. We do get referrals from a lot of real estate agents because they have homes that somebody wants to move, but there's just so much stuff in the house they can't put it on the market. So realtor, and then independent communities. People know that they want to move into an independent community, so they can give up shoveling snow and cleaning. But they look around their house and they don't even know where to begin. So they'll go to the independent community and take a tour, and then we kind of help bridge that gap so then they can move into their new apartments. So we'll get a lot of calls from the marketing folks at the the communities.
I've given up shoveling snow, but it's my 15-year-old son who does it. So
That works too. That works.
So now, what does a typical client look like that seeks you out?
So it's really interesting because when I first meet a client, you can just feel the tension and the stress. It's a very, very stressful situation. And they just, again, you walk into the room and you could they've been dealing with this typically for months or years, like sorting through their own things. The family member's been coming over on weekends. They've been trying for a long time. So when I first meet them, they're really stressed. And then as we kind of talk and, I come in no problem, we can have this done in 2 weeks. That kind of eases them. And so, but that kind of takes away the stress.
It seems like this could be pretty rewarding. What do you think is the best part of your business?
Yeah, the best part is actually once we're finished with the client and they say something like, oh my God, we cannot have imagined doing this without you. You just helped us get to where we wanted to be so we can enjoy life instead of just rummaging through boxes every single day. So I really like the closing of the whole situation and getting them to their new spot. And then once the house sells, that's just a bonus too.
Now,
So-
for everybody watching at home, then, what are some suggestions that you might have as far as downsizing?
Sure,
for them?
and you know, it's interesting that you started off with your first point, because my suggestion would be that it's never too soon to start. So as soon as you look around your house and you see items that you haven't used in a while, just in the back of your mind, just know somebody can be using those items. So whether it's clothes, furniture, anything, if you're not using it, just look at the positives and just start downsizing at any time. Because I think what I find is people approach me once they're in a really like a crunch situation, and it's much easier if you just kind of keep up with things as you go along.
The show Hoarders would be canceled if we all did that. So our thanks to Mary Ann for
Thank
joining
you for
us.
having
And
us.
thank you for watching Talk of the Town right here on CW57. We'll see you next time.